Only 4 steps to climb to the glossy front door of 43 Great Queen Street, but Nora's strength unravelled further with each one, dropping completely from her shoulders the moment she slipped inside the dim entrance hall. The house was quiet. Nora let out a sigh and plucked at the linen rag covering her chest. It had been a pressed blouse just this morning, before she'd had to sally out into the late summer heat, but the air inside was almost as stifling. She had one goal: to sit in the ice room with closed eyes until the waves of heat stopped radiating off her skin. Then she could finally open the letter she'd received yesterday but hadn't had time to read. Navigating past a pile of newly arrived crates in the hallway, she glanced at the labels. India. Horace must have gotten word of some exciting specimens. Detouring around them, she stepped into the parlour and stopped, letter and ice room forgotten. A tall, slender man was stretched across the sofa, slippered feet hanging off the edge. The newspaper, draped over his face, lifted ever so slightly with each of his languid breaths. Daniel was sleeping. Though her sore arms begged her to drop her heavy bag with a thump, she lowered it carefully to the floor so as not to startle him. Besides, it held too many precious medicines and instruments to treat it with anything less than the utmost care. She tugged at her bootlaces to free her tired feet. Leaving the dusty boots in a heap, she tiptoed closer, studying her new husband. The news sheet, rising and falling with each exhale like the gentle swells of a calm sea, bore an article about American gold prospecting in California. A trained surgeon, she lifted the paper with remarkable care and transferred it to the sofa arm, revealing his face, his sideburns trimmed with her usual precision. Daniel could have done as well himself, but she enjoyed shaving him. She liked any excuse to touch him, particularly those opportunities requiring a battle between deliberate motion and reckless proximity. The first time she'd gotten carried away and actually nicked him. Daniel had teased her for weeks. Nora grinned, nudged her way onto the edge of the cushion and bent, kissing his cheek. He looked younger than his 30 years when he slept. "You're home," he said, before he managed to open his eyes. His arms found her and tugged her close as he turned to his side and burrowed into the sofa to make room for her. "You missed supper. I hope it was an interesting case." "Nothing exciting. I was treating a girl with a fever in a rookery. When word spread a doctor was there, I had a line down the hall all the way to the front door. I opened a cyst, removed a dead fingernail, and tomorrow I have a child coming into the clinic. He's tongue-tied and needs to have it clipped." The poor didn't mind so much when their doctor wore skirts. Since returning from Italy 6 months before, the clinic here had grown more and more empty. Most middle-class men simply refused to submit to her care. Nora took a deep breath. "How was your day?" 3 surgeries, an amputation, a bone excision, and a bunion removal. Nora tamped down her jealousy, diverting her attention to Daniel as he pressed his lips into her hair, sending a rush of electricity over her scalp. "Let me squeeze you for a minute and then you can go eat."